If you're just starting Synergy Land, you don't want to miss these 7 beginner tips that are going to help you get started and really progress through the game as quickly as possible. Good morning. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. We're going to go ahead and jump in here on a brand new account to show you the 7 beginner tips that I could not have progressed without and will really help you progress quickly. So let's go ahead and dive into it. First of all, I am doing this on a brand new account, brand new land, and it is a free-to-play land. So just keep aware of that. If you're playing free-to-play, this is what you're going to see. If you have an NFT island, it's going to be a little bit different, a little bit more robust, and you're going to be able to progress a little bit quicker. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We are now into the game, and this is what you're first going to see when you jump into the game. I'm going to give you a little bit of tour, not spend too much time on it, but show you the essential areas. I do want to go ahead and give the caveat that I have no NFTs. I did mention that I was using a free-to-play island, but I also have none of the other NFTs that will help you. If you want an additional boost, you can go ahead and take a look at that, but we are not going to talk about that during this video. So let's go ahead and talk about tip number 1. As you're running in here to the land, you're going to see a number of piles. You're going to see a pile of rocks right here, and you're going to see a stump right here, and they are all over the land. So you want to go ahead and run up to these and grab them. At some point while you're waiting for crops to grow, you want to run around the entire place, grabbing as many of these as you can, as many of these as you have access to. So that's the first thing you want to do, and you do not want to sell them to the vendor. Again, I'm stressing that. Tip number 1 is do not sell the results of this to the vendor. You're going to get roots, you're going to get lumber, and you're going to get stones. Hold on to those. You're going to need those here in the near future, and it's going to save you some time if you don't sell those over to the vendor itself. Tip number 2 is going to be simple. You have this area right down here. Free to play is going to have this. Anyone with an NFT land is going to have both of these or all 3 of these, depending on the size of your NFT land. Your goal is to fill this up with as many farm plots as possible, as quickly as possible, because that will help you continue to earn coin, which allows you to continue to progress in the game. So in order to do that, the first thing you're going to go ahead and do is go ahead and click on the vendor here. And the first quest that they're going to have, I'm telling you shouldn't really do many of the quests here early, but this is an important one because this is going to give you some resources that are going to help you get started. So you go ahead and accept the quest, and you're going to go ahead and open this chest right here. And that's going to give you some items that are going to be very helpful for you. And you can see those kind of pop up there. It's going to give you a farm plot. It's going to give you the sawmill, which you don't have to worry about right now, but that's available now, plus a few other things. What you're looking to do is get as many of these farm plots as possible so you can fill up this area. It's going to take 9 of these small farm plots to go ahead and put them in there and take up this entire area. So this is where the resources that we talked about earlier are going to come in. You're going to go ahead and click on the sign here, and you're going to have to go ahead and fill these out. And there you go. See, we already picked up some of these. Thankfully, we didn't sell them because we can go ahead and use them. And there we go. That's tip number 2, is to try and fill out these plots as quickly as possible. You get 1 free from the chest, and every 6 hours, you're going to go ahead and be able to get some from the store here. You can see the timer right up here, and you can buy 2 of them. So this is going to take you a few days to go through that process, but I encourage you to grind through that process. Earn the coins, get the plots, and build them out. There's nothing else that you should do during this time frame other than collecting those resources to get these, because they're going to help you earn coin. All right, so let's go ahead and just finish this quest that we had started here. Again, we're not going to focus on quests right now. We're going to go ahead and leave that. You can see build small plot, which we already did. You can go ahead and just gather the ones that have already been available to you, accept the resources. So you're going to go ahead and collect some additional resources, as you can see here. But you don't want to focus on it too much. So the next thing we're going to do, now that we have 825, we're going to go ahead and see how much this plot is. So we can go ahead, if we want to, we can go ahead and buy 1 more. I may say hold on to that just for right now. But the next thing we're going to go ahead and do as we get these land plots And as we continue to progress through that, you want to go ahead and start planting plants. There's a number of things that you can go ahead and use in these farm plots. You can go ahead and use trees. You can go ahead and put livestock there, and you can go ahead and put plants. Plants are the most efficient way to earn early game. So you want to go ahead and find the highest tier. I usually do either potatoes or I do cucumbers. We're going to do cucumbers in this example. So we're going to go ahead and buy 20 of these, which is going to take 200, which is a little pricey. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to go down here and we're going to start planting those. Planting these early and often is going to be what really helps you out. So there we go. We actually finished that quest just by planting these cucumbers. And then you're just going to go ahead and grow those, and they're going to take about 20 minutes to grow. So you're going to plant them in all the spots, and you're just going to grind these out the first couple days. It's a little bit rough, it's a little bit grindy, but I encourage you to focus on that. So tip 3 is to focus on growing plants and earning the coins from the plants. Let's go ahead and finish this quest, which is going to give us a little bit more of the seeds that we can go ahead and use. And then it does ask me to go ahead and accept another one, but I would just ignore this part for right now. All right, you can accept it if you choose to accept it, but we're not going to do any more quests for right now. So you're going to go through, you're going to grind while you're waiting for these to grow. It takes about, let me just check, it takes 30 minutes for them to go ahead and grow. You have two choices. You can go ahead and jump out of game, or you can run around and gather up these resources. So you can just go ahead collecting these resources, and you see you're going to get a bunch of stuff. You're going to get fiber, you're going to get roots, you're going to get rocks, and you're going to use these to build additional farm plots. So now let's talk through tip number 4. When you go ahead and farm these resources that are around the area that we just did, and also the plants, you're going to get additional items. You're going to get these fibers, you're going to get these roots, and you may get some other items too that are in there. Again, you want to go ahead. I get what you feel. You want to go ahead and buy or go ahead and sell those resources. Hold on to those because they will be used down the road and you will need a lot of those. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and hold on to these fibers. They'll be turned into string that you can go ahead and use to craft different items. And this is going to be used in a future cooking items. So go ahead and hold on to those. That's tip number 4. Tip number 5 is kind of a follow-up tip from what I mentioned before. The first couple days in this game are going to be grindy. You're going to focus on planting. You're going to focus on buying farm plots, which we're going to go ahead and buy one more here. And you're going to focus on building this out. The quicker you build this out, the quicker you can go ahead and earn coin at a faster rate. And then as you're earning it at a faster rate, you're going to go ahead and start building up your budget that you can go ahead and spend on different blueprints and then mining down the road, a whole bunch of different things that are going to help you down the road. Another quick tip, and this is a bonus one, if you are going in here and adding resources, instead of clicking, if you go ahead and hold down shift and you click, it's going to fill it up with all the resources that you have available. So there we go. We're going to go ahead and add another one here, which just essentially doubles our production as we're going through. Now that that's available, when we can go ahead and sell these items, we'll go ahead and get additional seeds. We'll also get seeds from harvesting, and that'll allow us to continue to go ahead and produce. So right now, the main things you want to focus on is building up your budget, basically the coins that you have in your wallet, gathering all the resources that are around the area, and then building this area up and making it a full farm plot. If you have an NFT land, it's going to take you a little bit longer to go through the process to go ahead and put your farm plots in there, but it's going to be totally worth it because your production, instead of just having 9 plots, you're going to go ahead and either have 18 or 24 plots. So it just gives you so much more production by going ahead. It takes a little bit longer, takes a little bit more of a grind, but it's very much worth it as you're going through the process. Once you have all these built out, and once you have a budget of what I would say roughly about 10,000 coin, which I know sounds exhausting right now, but as you're going through this in a day or two, you'll earn that pretty quickly. So once you have all that done, Then you can move on and start focusing on the quests again and start building out the different areas and moving forward that way. So that's tip number 6. Do not move forward until you have 10,000 in your wallet, and then you can go ahead and follow the quest chain until you can't follow it anymore. There will be a point where you can't follow it anymore. All right, for the 7th and final tip, we're going to go ahead and jump forward a little bit. We're actually jumped over to my main account where I've been farming for quite some time because I want to show you the progression. For the final tip, when you're going ahead and doing the plants, early game is tough because you have all those individual plants that you need to harvest and plant, and it becomes a little tiresome and a little grindy. So this tip will allow you to go ahead and speed up the overall process by continuing to give you a good amount of XP and also a good amount of resources. So what you're going to do is you're going to go here in the shop and you're going to buy some seeds. We're going to go ahead and continue with the cucumber seeds. I'm going to go ahead and buy 60 of those, and then we're going to go ahead and click on buy. Once you have some of the buildings built out, for example, the kitchen, when we first got that chest initially, we got blueprints for the sawmill. As you go through the quest line, you'll go ahead and earn or work through blueprints for the kitchen. And when you have the kitchen, there's a neat little thing that you can go ahead and do that a lot of new players don't know about. What we're going to do is we're going to go over to our kitchen. This is what the level 2 kitchen looks like. And you click on that. You can go ahead and process different things. And one of the key things that you can go ahead and process are seed bundles. Essentially what the seed bundles do, instead of taking a 1x1 space, they take a 2x2 space. So it's less time for harvesting, less time for planting, and you still get a good amount of XP and resources. All you need to do to go ahead and get those is you need 5 packs of seeds. You click on this, you go ahead and click on the number that you want, and then you're going to see 5 of those or I should say 60 of those, 5 each is going to turn into 12 of these, which is a simple process, and it's going to reduce the grindiness of the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back over here, and I'm going to show you the difference. Instead of having a 1x1, let's go ahead and harvest these sunflowers. You're going to go ahead and have a 2x2 of the cucumbers. So if you're still only a tier 1 or a tier 2 at most, you can go ahead and do this, and you can go ahead, instead of doing 1x1, you can do 2x2. It makes things a whole lot quicker. It reduces the grind. It does cost some of your energy up here, but depending on how much you're playing, you should have some energy available, and then you can go ahead and continue to grind through the process. So those are the 7 tips, but I actually have an 8th tip here for you. That is a bonus tip, and I left it as a bonus tip because it will not apply to everybody. If you want to go ahead and continue to grow, and after you get to a point in your first land, as you continue to grow, you may get encouraged, or you may want to go ahead and produce more resources, have more farm plots. What you can go ahead and do is jump back out of the game to the main menu, and what you've seen here is you actually have 3 slots for islands. So if you have an NFT land, you can actually go ahead and make a second land, which is the free-to-play land, which is a great addition, so you can have extra. If you want to go out there and you're a whale and you want to buy 3 islands, totally up to you and your situation, you can go ahead and do that. So you can have a max of 3 lands for an account. So that gives you 3 lands of production. The only caveat or the only challenge with that is the amount of energy that you're going to use. But it also gives you a chance to go ahead and use all those workstations, make all those workstations available, and they can go ahead and produce while you're away from the game. So I hope these 7 tips were helpful. Let me go through them as a quick recap. First of all, as you're going in for the first time, go ahead and harvest those stumps and those rock piles and keep all those resources. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is make sure that you are focusing on maxing out the plots, getting those in there, grind through the process. Don't really focus on anything else except for those first few quests, but get those farm plots established and build up so you can go ahead and use those and produce. Tip number 3 is focus on planting plants and harvesting plants. Ignore the animals, ignore the trees for right now. Focus on the plants, earn the coin from the plants because they are going to be the most efficient way to earn coins early game. Next, when you're harvesting both the rocks and the tree stumps and the plants, you're going to get additional resources called fibers and roots. Hold on to those. You will use those mid-game. So hold on to those. That's tip number 4. Tip number 5 is build up your budget early. Before you start crafting and building different buildings outside of the farm plots, try to get your budget up to 10,000 coins. That's going to help you quite a bit and speed up the process down the road. Tip number 7 is once you have that budget of 10,000, once you have the farm plots established and you have a groove to the game, then you can go ahead and move on with the quests and start building out those additional resources and get to the point where you have the kitchen built out, because the kitchen is going to be very important down the road. And once you have that kitchen built out, tip number 7 is go ahead through the process of combining those seed bags to make it a little more efficient for you and reduce the grinding for you, especially early game. And last but not least, the tip is a bonus one, is you can go ahead and have up to 3 islands if you choose to do so. That's not for everybody, but if you just choose to do so, you can go ahead and do that. I hope this was helpful. If you have any additional beginner tips, go ahead and put them in the comments down below. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.